Jeeveshu Ahluwalia. I'm sure a lot of people know Jeeveshu. He is a stand-up comedian. He's an actor. He's also acted in ads and movies. And friend, I've known Jeeveshu for over 5 years now,
Yeah.
since I started doing comedy. And yeah, great, thanks. And so there are a lot of things I'm sure we can talk about. And I wrote down a bunch of questions in a notepad which I've forgotten where else. So we'll just get going with it. Thank you, Jeeveshu, for your time. How are you doing?
No problem. I'm good. I'm good. How are you, Amar?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. So, how are you
Safe and
spending your
sound?
time? In yes, safe and sound. How are you spending your time in this bullshit
Dude,
lockdown?
I'm loving this. I'm loving this. I haven't
You're
had
loving it.
much
Okay.
time to be home earlier. So I'm
Right.
enjoying time with my wife, with my mother, with my dogs,
Yeah.
exercising, yoga, and reading, watching movies,
Right.
doing stuff I hadn't done in a long time. So I'm enjoying every bit of it. The moment it gets extended, I love it.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah.
Okay. So congratulations on the extension of the lockdown.
Yeah, 2 weeks now. I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited. So yeah.
Okay, great. All right. So this series is about. So I'm talking to people who I believe can inspire a lot of people, right? People who have unique stories. People who have done different stuff with their lives. Because and I'm to be honest, I'm not. It's I've gone a little slow with this over the last 1 week or so because I realize these stories have to be absolutely unique and interesting for people to listen to. So that's why I'm talking to only a few people. Thanks for your time.
Well, thank you for having me over.
Okay, great. So to start with, we'll talk about. Let's talk. Obviously, you're a stand-up comedian now, but I will. The idea in this discussion will be to dig in a bit of depth about your story. So tell us a bit about yourself, right from where you're from, where you grew up, and how was your childhood like. That's where we start.
So born and bred in Delhi,
Yeah.
childhood in Delhi.
Right.
I used to stay in South Delhi. So and
Mm,
then moved to Gurgaon back in 2003,
right.
and schooling there, college there, from
Mm,
Delhi, in and around the area of South Delhi,
mm,
and grew up like any one of us, playing in hot, scorching sun,
mm.
video games, and playing with friends and roaming around doing nothing, getting scolded for being outside for no reason and not studying enough. So I
Right.
had the same thing, yeah, same old for everyone.
Like, were you bright in school?
I was a sharp student. I wasn't the A student. I think there is a
Yeah.
difference. A student is somebody who just scores in the 90s and hundreds,
Yeah.
and but I would score like a 75 or an 80, but I wouldn't be the 90s guys.
Right, right. And what did
Yeah.
you then? What did you do after school? What did you study after? Like, what did you
So
study
I did my
that?
commerce. So
Okay,
I studied my 11th, 12th in commerce. So I did BCom, which is Bachelor of Commerce, after right
right,
after my school,
right.
and never studied after that. So I'm a third division graduate from a, college in Delhi called Deshbandhu Evening, because the Deshbandhu Morning does not have BCom pass. BCom pass is
Okay,
only in Hindi, only in
okay.
evening. Sorry.
Right, right. And I
Yeah.
believe, I mean, I've read, although I'm not really sure at what point did you start working, but I've read about you that and you've spoken about it, that you also worked at Pizza Hut. And so
Hmm.
talk about like, so when you got into graduation, at what point did you start working?
I started
What
working very early on. I think after 10th itself, I was doing odd things like comic ki library and door to door biscuit bechna and greeting cards bechna and types like that, because I could just
Okay,
want to sustain more money.
right.
My mother had stopped working back then because of her illness.
Okay,
And then after 12th, I went into full fledged job because I had the luxury of not going to the school, and Deshband evening was not high on attendance. And I spoke to the principals कि मैं आ नहीं पाऊंगा, आप मेरे को attendance
right,
का कुछ leverage मिल जाए तो.
right.
And then I got a job in PVR, the first
Okay,
multiplex which opened up in India in Saket.
right,
You know,
right,
around 24. I did that job for about a year.
right.
Moved to Pizza Hut for about 3 years in
Hmm.
Delhi, Agra, and Jaipur. Worked there as a
Hmm.
delivery boy and a waiter for 3 years.
Okay, okay.
And then I joined the BPO sector, which was coming up right then, back in '99 and 2000. It just kind of mushroomed
Yeah,
in
yeah.
India.
It was. I was in college then. It just started back then in 2000.
Yeah. So joined that, and I worked there for 14 years, and joined like anybody else, like a basic call center associate, and went
Right.
on to become the director of the firm. Yeah. And then quit
Okay.
all of it and started doing comedy.
Yeah. So teleperformance, like that is
Yeah,
all
yeah.
for
Teleperform was
all
my
for
last assignment.
But was that the only call center job? Or did you move to other jobs
No, no,
also?
I moved across Genpact and Converges and Pune and a lot of
Lots
I
of
did my
them.
job, but 4, 5 of them,
But
of
during
big
that time,
reporting.
during that time did you pursue other things, or it was just jobs at
No,
that time?
just job. I think I bought a house back when I think 26.
Okay. Wow.
That was 16 years ago. Yeah. So I had to pay the installments and salary मेरे ख्याल से मेरी 23,000 रुपए थी उसमें से 10,000 रुपए किश्त जाती थी घर की
अच्छा.
तो और बाइक की किश्त जाती थी तो
हाँ.
I had no option to but earn and that was never
Yeah.
a burden but it was more of a compelling factor
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
earn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Right. And then how did you like? So okay. So 14 years you had no absolutely background in creativity. You did
No, no,
BCom. And
no.
so how did you discover comedy to start with? And at what point did you decide that you could do this?
So I didn't never discovered it. I was just the funny guy. I think being funny was my defense mechanism.
Yeah.
Some people have anger. Some people will become serial killers. Some people
Ah,
become murderers. Some people become robbers.
yeah.
I became the funny guy. I think I was too wimpy to become a robber. I was too scared to become a murderer.
Ah.
But humor was my defense mechanism against everything I couldn't get. So I had a childhood which was deprived of money. So I would have humor instead of it. And the irony of life is, if you don't have money, then you don't have too many friends at any level.
Yeah.
Parents who don't want their kids to hang out with kids who are not well off.
Yeah.
And so I did all of that, and humor was my defense mechanism to it.
Right.
And so I had the innate part of being funny, and I
Mm.
used to crack up jokes in, for example, in office or do shitty stuff in office,
Mm.
crack up with my colleagues, my seniors, my juniors, and they used to find it very funny and very amusing that, oh, I could crack them up. So we
Mm.
used to stick around after Friday nights and just stick around for half an hour, and I used to just crack
Yeah.
them up, telling up my stories of school or college or
Right.
childhood. That's how
Right.
it started happening. And then one of my really, really good friends, even now, is called Aaron Minkus,
Okay.
um, who was my client as well back in
Mm.
Delhi Performance. He said, "Why don't you try stand up?" He was from US and it's an US art form, so he was pretty much aware of what stand up is.
Mm.
We Googled and we got to know, you know, there was this open mic happening with Amit Tandon's restaurant called Mind Cafe back in
Mm.
2013,
Mm.
and that's where I started. And,
Mm.
and then Amit came out and he said, "Quit your job." Because Amit and I used to work together in a company where he was in business development, I was in operations.
Huh.
So we used to work together back in 2003. So about 17 years ago, we used to work together.
Oh, really? I mean, which
Yeah.
company was that? Where did you work together? What?
iFlex, Equinox.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
you were in the same company as
Yeah, we
Amit
were. He
was.
was in business development or sales. I was in the operations team.
Oh, I see. Because I thought Amit used to have an HR firm of
Yeah,
his
yeah.
own.
So then he went on to open up his own HR firm called Imperial HR.
Oh, I see. Okay, that was after
Yeah,
Equinox.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, great. So once you enter comedy, I think, as far as I remember, whatever I remember of it, because I feel there are like two kinds of people in comedy. At least I feel that's my opinion. I mean, there are certain people who are naturally funny, right? They're
Mm,
certainly when they talk, they're funny, and so some
mm,
people have had to like build it up.
yeah.
For example, when I look at it, I was never naturally funny. Like you just
Mm,
said, you're naturally funny, right? Like I was never naturally funny.
mm,
I For like years I bombed for 2 3 years, like nothing was happening.
mm,
But
mm.
for do you think like it came naturally to you when you went on stage also, your humor naturally transition itself to stage?
So I think I went with the safest part of comedy, which was self-deprecating humor. And
Mm,
self-deprecating humor is innately easy because you're living through that life,
yeah.
and it is easy to depict, it's easy to remember, and it's easy to portray.
Huh.
So if you're not, I've always said that I'm not talented enough to write a joke. I am just the guy who tells stories on stage.
Mm,
I cannot write a fictional joke where you would beat me to death on that one,
mm,
because you would have series of jokes to write. I
mm.
have to live through a joke. I have to observe it. I have to deliver it. I have to live through it. I have to experience it to deliver a joke.
Yeah.
I won't be able to deliver a joke if somebody else writes it for me.
Right. Right. Exactly. I mean, I think we
So it
can't
kind of
really.
transcended back then when I did it on stage, so people could connect. And I
Huh.
think my get go was, I think before I started doing comedy, there were very few comics who were doing pure Hindi comedy, which was
Yeah.
Zakir and Apoorv.
Yeah.
And Zakir and Apoorv were doing Hindi comedy because they did not have English as the first medium to think or execute.
Yeah.
I was the guy who had English as is on the back of his hand to execute and to probably use, but I chose Hindi.
Hmm.
So that urban connect was faster and much more relevant.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly,
So
exactly. Which is great, like because I think I mean, you because you worked in teleperformance, English was never a problem. I mean,
call
that's
center,
because
yeah, the call center as a background would have English as a primary language to have.
primary language, yeah. Because
Yeah.
I also remember I worked in a call center for a while, and another problem with me is that I can't even choose if I want to choose Hindi as a primary language,
Mhm.
I wouldn't be able to do it because somehow happen to think in English.
Yeah, yeah, true.
Yeah, it's you almost like because whatever language you think in, it becomes your first language that way.
Exactly, true, true.
Yeah. So great. So 2013, 14, you started in
Yeah.
almost like you're a hit from the beginning, right? I mean,
So I
at the
got my
beginning you
first
struggled.
paid gig after my first open mic. Yeah,
That's awesome. Wow. After
yeah,
your
yeah. But
first open
then the
mic.
part is that I bombed so bad because I had 3 minutes of material and I had 30 minutes to deliver. So I had taken 27 minutes for just massacred on stage in just terms of silence. So I
Right.
just died that night, and I still remember Amit Tandon came out and he gave me $4,000,
Ah,
and he said, "Keep it, it's okay." And I said, "I'll take it when I earn, like when
right.
I've earned it, I'll take it." So and then I actually went back again on stage after like 2 months and did well, and then I took that money.
Right.
Yeah,
And but then you had quit your job by then. When did you quit the
yeah,
job?
yeah. I had quit my job after my first open mic.
After the first open mic, you quit the job.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I think I was just looking for a reason. I think I would have quit my job any which ways.
Ah,
I think this just happened. So it just kind of was a jigsaw puzzle coming together. So I saw the first piece fit in. I said, the rest I'll figure out. And I quit my
yeah.
job.
Because this is very interesting. If you, I also spoke to Anshu,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very interesting because even I'm also is also speaking to some authors and entrepreneurs because it's very interesting the inflection point where people decide to quit their jobs, right? To do something that they don't know will work out or not, right?
Correct.
because because
True. I
because
agree.
because because, because for example, for you did it after the first open mic and you bombed in that show because you're 3 minutes of material, obviously.
Yeah.
But then where does it confidence come from? For example, a lot of people wonder about if they should do it, they should not do it.
Money.
Because, for example, for
Money.
me, money, exactly.
Money.
Right.
Money.
So for
Yeah.
you,
So I
was
was
that a
smart enough
comfortable?
to do that. So I
Right.
wasn't earning money, but I made sure that I survived long enough. So I had enough bank balance to survive myself through about a year.
For you.
And I also made sure that I did smarter moves in the sense I went on to restaurants and knocked doors and tried opening up open mic spots
Right.
because I wanted stage and I wanted money. So I
Hmm.
would go as low as 800 rupees to 2000 rupees to 3000 and then 5000 and 7000 and 10,000.
Yeah.
At the highest, I think I was earning 15,000 per open mic at some point, and I was running about 20 open mics a month, and I
Hmm.
used to host each one of them. So, and then I was traveling, and then I started doing well because since I was, my set was becoming better because I was just doing it over and over again.
Yeah.
And the constraint of doing an open mic, if you are the only host again and again, and there is a repeat audience, you can't do the old jokes. You have to write,
Yeah.
and which made me a better comic, but also gave me very less time to handle those open mics. So I started giving out to other comics, the newer lot that was coming in, and eventually they all started shutting down. I think you need to be passionate enough to run it,
Right.
and they started shutting down at some point, and then I did not have enough time to run it, and I just didn't want the venue to suffer or the art form to suffer in the first place because of my
Yeah.
absence.
Yeah. That makes sense because I mean, in fact, at that point, 5 years back, there were venues who were actually paying for open mics and hosts. It's become difficult at this stage because
Yeah,
because at
yeah,
that point, comedy was just starting out.
correct. But I think even so, our issue is that we don't know how to say no or when to say no. We
Hmm.
grab the first opportunity, it comes our way, and that comes our way, and that's the issue. I have said a lot no to a lot of open mics. I've said yes to a lot of open mics,
Hmm.
but I always stood my ground on the terms: if you're good at something, don't do it for free.
Yeah.
Because if you start doing it for free, if you don't value what you do, then nobody else is going to value it.
Yeah, exactly. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. So from 2013, 14. So how? So tell me. So how? For example, how was the journey from there? Like you kept improving because you kept going from
Yeah.
one gig to another gig.
Yeah.
And did you have any points after that? Because I mean I wouldn't remember the way I mean everybody would look at your story. I think from there you grew from strength to strength. Uske baad I'm sure there were no doubts.
So there's always a doubt. I still doubt myself because I'm not able to write a lot of stuff. I still doubt every time I don't think of a joke and somebody else does. I still doubt when my video doesn't do well. I
Hmm.
still doubt when I don't get more shows. So it's always a very doubtful scenario because as a freelancer, you need to be in doubt because otherwise, if you become cocky about it, if you become very complacent about it, you're going to die.
Hmm.
And that has happened to a lot of people that I've seen and
Yeah.
observed and probably witnessed. So I'm
Right.
always very doubtful. I'm always very wary of any opportunity that comes my way and I let it go. I
Hmm.
weigh myself a million times before I let's say no to an opportunity. um, but yeah, I'm always in doubt before I go up on stage or take any project or write any joke or
Hmm.
if it doesn't do well. Always in doubt. But
Always
that
in
works
doubt.
for me. Yeah, that works for me though.
And how about so great. So comedy has but eventually I know that you are one of the most popular comedians in the country and you performed even internationally, which
Mhm.
is great. So congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And but and talk a bit more about so eventually when you started doing well, you also did ads, you also did
Yeah,
movies, which a
yeah,
lot of people have not been able to crack. For example, if you look at entertainment, even in the US, a
mm,
lot of comedians have their own TV shows, they have
yeah,
radio stuff. A lot
yeah,
of stuff comedians are able to do beyond just stand up,
yeah,
which is not really the scene in India right
yeah,
now,
yeah.
but you've been able to crack some of it. Talk a bit
Mm,
about that. How did you do it? What tips would you have for other people? For example, if comedy as a genre were to grow, right, people have to be able
mm,
to do other stuff beyond stand up.
correct.
Yeah.
So I think some of us tried the movies part. I think if you don't do well, it is largely the actor who's not doing well, and it's a director standpoint of how they want to execute an actor.
Hmm.
Um, be it a lead actor, be it a supporting character. I've done two. One never got much footage in it because the movie couldn't find the edit place for the role that I was playing. Second
Hmm.
one had done enough, but the movie wasn't doing too well, and that's fine. Um, I never did any role which was absolutely slapstick, and I'm not saying anything against slapstick, but I think which was very, very, very graphical to look at in terms of comedy. I didn't want them to hire me because I was a comic. I wanted to hire. They want them to hire me because I was an actor. And
Hmm.
are you an actor? No, you're not. Can you be an actor? Probably. Am
Okay.
I an actor? I don't know. I've done a lot of ads when and I think I've done a very bad job. I've
Right.
done a lot of ads when I think I've done really good job.
Right.
But I wasn't the one doing that good job. I wasn't the one doing the bad job. It is the director who has to execute the actor the way they want.
Okay.
Um, and I was doing ads because I always wanted to see myself on TV. That was my only prerogative that I wanted to do.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, and then eventually movies happened and
Ah,
TVs, whatever, like whatever happened. Then it was largely my intention was to sit with my mother and look at myself on TV. कि
on
ad आने
TV.
वाला है. हाँ,
Right.
so अरे वो देखो मेरा बेटा. That was
But
that was the only intention.
how did you do it? Did you audition for a lot of
Yeah,
ads
yeah. So I used
or
to just audition. Yeah, yeah. I still audition. I have to send an audition today as well. I audition for every role that is there. I audition multiple times over a period of days, different costumes, different strands, different readings, different scripts.
right?
And in my mind, I'm going, हाँ हाँ बहुत अच्छा गया. लेकिन जब वहाँ से कुछ आता है, मैं अरे रे क्या कूड़ा करा मैंने.
Ah,
So acting is not easy. To portray somebody that you've not seen, witnessed, or observed,
ah,
and it's a fictional character out of somebody's brain.
right.
It's a hard thing to imagine and even difficult to, or even extremely tough to depict and execute on screen.
But how do you find these auditions? Do you do them sitting in Delhi or do you travel all the time to Bombay with these?
I do both. So I
Hmm.
travel to Bombay or I am in Delhi doing it self test. My wife does it for me, or my mother does it, or my domestic help, or myself, or my friend, whoever.
Hmm.
A lot of comics have helped me in doing that. So yeah, I but I audition. Yeah,
The
it's not
audition.
given on a plate.
Where do you find these auditions? For example, if someone were to look for these
So
auditions,
I
where?
used to. So you have to go to Bombay,
Hmm.
uh, and you have to go to Aram Nagar or one of those film city studios where there are a lot of production houses wherein you knock and you say, do you have any auditions running? They'll
Right.
say yes or a no. If they say no, then the next door. If they say
Yeah.
yes, you stick around, spend a few hours, and whatever hour time that they take the
Right.
script, execute it, and they will say no. But at
Mm.
least they have your face, name, profile, contact now. And then you go to the
Mm.
next door, and then you go to the next door, and then you go to the next door, and then you keep doing it.
Right.
I did
Right.
that for first 3 years or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. But it's all in Bombay. Delhi doesn't have
Delhi doesn't have
much
that too much. Yeah, no, it doesn't.
any much of this work happening.
No.
Great. Okay. So you if you were to look at like overall, right? Overall, if you were to look at your life right now, by the way, congratulations on the marriage. I congratulated you earlier, but since we are on this call,
Yes. Thank you.
uh, so tell me about the highs and the lows of your life. Let's say overall. Let's say because these are a lot of not many people are able to live the kind of lives the kind of life that you live right now,
Yeah.
right? I mean, a lot of people I mean, we live in a country where 90% of the people do the same thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They live a routine life. I mean, they get
Mundane.
into a
Yeah.
job, get married, and
Yeah.
live in the same job forever.
True.
So what have been the highs of this life? What have been the lows of this life for
So
you?
I think highs have been largely self-driven highs, which are not related to others, like probably buying a house or taking care of my mother or traveling with my mother or meeting my wife or getting married. It's a very self-driven thing.
Mm,
Lows have been largely with others, the expectations you have from others, and then it doesn't get delivered and you feel bad.
mm,
But then it's a very old saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And that's
yeah.
pretty much it. So every time it puts you down, you just come out stronger. Because the
Mm,
best part or the worst part of being a stand-up guy is a very selfish, self-absorbed, self-obsessed art form. You don't
mm,
need anybody's help. If you're good, you'll never be out of work.
right.
And if you suck, you'll never get work.
Right.
Nobody gives a shit as to how you are, who you are, or who are you with.
Right.
It is never going to matter to anyone. End audience wants to laugh. They don't want to know your life. And they don't
Right.
care. Nobody does. Your next door neighbor doesn't care. Your relative doesn't care. Your brother doesn't care. Your parents don't care.
Mm,
It's a very solo art form. It's a
right.
very lonely art form.
Yeah. It is
It
very
doesn't
true.
have, yeah, it doesn't have any support system to it.
Yeah.
So my highs have been probably buying a massive house or a massive car or getting married and making sure my mother is healthy and well taken care of, or putting food on her plate and whatever she wants to eat, buying some jewelry for her. One of those things, like basic level. Seeing my
Mm,
brother and his kids and his wife, um, cherishing my friends and being there whenever they needed me or whenever I needed them, they were there. Lows have been largely externals. I just couldn't figure out. For example, low would mean if somebody said something, that'll feel bad.
mm,
I think small things matter to me a lot rather than the bigger things.
mm,
सो अगर किसी ने कुछ बोल दिया बुरा तो मुझे बुरा लगेगा किसी ने प्यार
mm,
से बात नहीं की तो मुझे बुरा लगेगा बट देन द गुड पार्ट ऑफ दैट इज दैट वो एक लेवल के बाद इंसान होने का सबसे अच्छा फायदा ये है कि आपको एक चीज कई बार बुरी नहीं लग सकती आपको 4 बार लगेगी 5 बार लगेगी 10 बार लगेगी 11वीं बार आप हीट हो जाओगे
mm,
तो
mm,
फिर देन
right.
यू लिव थ्रू इट दैट्स इट
Mm, mm, mm. Nice. Great. And how do you like how do you get better at, for example, you said if you're good then the work will talk from a comedy perspective. How do you get better at comedy? What have you learned about it?
you have to just do things keep writing original material get up on stage there is no third reason to it like you just can't have you can keep
Right.
writing shitty material but if you get up on stage it's a very executional art form you can
Mm,
have a very well written joke but executed really badly can just die on stage and if you can have a very bad written joke but done really well can just slay the audience into laughter pits
mm.
so if you are doing it then only two things to do write material get on stage write material get on stage that's it there's no third factor to it
Simple as
there's
that,
no
right?
opinions to be asked. Yeah, yeah. No judgments, no opinions, no advices to be taken from anyone.
Mm, awesome. And if the people, let's say beyond comedy, right? People who may listen to you from a passion perspective, that should one how should one go about following their passion? From someone who is successful, right?
Mm, mm.
What would you say to them?
Get enough bank balance so that you don't have to take desperate measures and desperate choices to be made in terms of money if you don't have it.
Right.
Should have enough bank balance and very less credit to be paid off. Hopefully, no loans and nothing that you have to pay off. So that you don't have to get up tomorrow morning and make a choice of, do I take this job? Do I not take this job? Do I take this project? Do I not take this project?
Mm.
Because you have installments to pay. Get your bank balance in place. Secondly, try it as a hobby first. Try it in sideline. And when I say hobby, that doesn't mean that you do it for 20 minutes a day. Do it for 2 hours a day. You have enough reasons कि मेरे को office में time लग जाता है, इसमें time लग जाता है, but the only question you have to ask is how bad do you want it?
Mm.
And if you want it bad enough, then like, you will find out a reason and resource to go ahead and do it. चाहे आप
Right.
अब यूएस में देख लीजिए, जहाँ इतना पुराना आर्ट फॉर्म है, वहाँ लोग 30 साल से कॉमेडी कर रहे हैं, कोई स्पेशल नहीं, कोई टीवी सीरीज नहीं, उन्होंने अपने घर चलाए, अपनी जिंदगी चलाई है। हफ्ते के 8-8 10-10 ओपन माइक करते हैं वो लोग, 5-5 शोज, 2-2 3-3 शोज करते हैं, गाड़ियाँ कई हजारों 100 किलोमीटर चला के जाते हैं एक वेन्यू पर।
Mm.
तो अगर आप में इतना जील है, इतना जज्बा नहीं है, देन मत करिए। फिर आपको कुछ ऐसा काम करिए जो आसान है और आपको अच्छा लगता है।
Right.
तो वही है कि अगर आपको पैशन फॉलो करना है, गेट योर बैंक बैलेंस इन प्लेस एंड
Mm.
कीप डूइंग इट एज अ हॉबी। व्हेन आई से हॉबी, हमारे हॉबी को बहुत लूजली लिया जाता है कि हॉबी मतलब हफ्ते में 2 बार कर लेंगे।
Mm.
हॉबी मतलब उतने ही तरीके से होता है। हॉबी का लार्जली डेरिवेटिव ये है कि आप किसी भी शौक को अपनी आमदनी का जरिया बनाने से पहले टेस्ट करिए कि बॉस
Mm.
क्या वो बन सकता है, क्या वो ठीक है, क्या वो मेरी कॉलिंग है। ये भी तो हो सकता है कि कई बार वो आपकी कॉलिंग ही ना हो।
Mm.
I personally know people who have quit their jobs to become fitness trainers or fitness enthusiasts, and after 3 months they realize they just wanted to be fit. They
Ah.
never wanted to be fitness trainers. They just wanted to be fit, but they wanted to
Right.
go back to their job. But at least they
Right.
could take that chance. And when they could only take the chance because उनके पास पैसा था, या बैंक
Right.
बैलेंस था, सैलरी थी। भूखे पेट
Right.
तो भजन नहीं होते, तो पैशन तो क्या ही फॉलो होगा।
Right. So you gotta have like some balance to at least go for a year, right? And then
हाँ
otherwise,
हाँ,
otherwise go back to a job.
yeah yeah
Mm, mm, mm. Okay, great. But this whole idea of following a passion, it will bring, because otherwise, I remember if you are in a job that you don't like, or
mm,
because even if you like the job, right? I mean, you were a director at
mm,
teleperformance. I'm
mm.
sure you like it, right? Otherwise,
Yeah. I don't regret any day of my corporate life.
right, right.
Yeah.
So because the difference between what you experience then and the difference between what you experience as a comedian, what is the
Yeah.
difference between that? What is the
So
difference between?
I think, Amar, this is where everybody has that question. Ki they think the past life has to suck to figure out if you want to be happy now.
Huh.
It may not necessarily be. I
Right.
was earning really good salary. I was comfortably placed in my life financially, or in terms of house over my head, roof over my head, and house and bed and guardian, whatever.
Hmm.
Um, it's one of those simple things that you like. Let me ask you this question: do you love listening to music?
I mean, I like it. I
Do you
don't.
love
Yeah,
eat? Do you love to eat? What is that you're very
yeah.
passionate about other
I
than
love.
comedy?
I love to eat. Yes, I love to
Love to
eat.
eat, right? What's your favorite cuisine?
I like North Indian food itself. Yeah,
What in North Indian food do you love?
I like mostly stuff that comes in winters, saag and rajma, even palak and stuff. I don't understand all of that.
Correct. So
Yeah.
saag, for example, sarson ka saag and makke di roti, right?
Ah, ah.
Now you've had enough sarson ka saag makke di roti because one, we come from Sikh religion, so that is there and it's a staple diet at the back at our home.
Hmm.
Now I'm sure there's a Michelin star restaurant which serves sarson ka saag and makke ki roti also. I'm
Hmm.
sure it does, right? And there is some world's best restaurant that you have had sarson ka saag makke ki roti. You
Ah.
haven't had it so far. You haven't had
Right.
it, that one, right? But
Right.
do you miss while you're having sarson ka saag and makke ki roti कि मैंने best वाला नहीं खाया अभी तक? No, you
Right.
don't miss it because you
Right.
don't know if there was any better.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was just so that's the same thing with the job. That's the same thing with your life scenario. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to suck in the current scenario to figure out something better.
Mm.
I was happy there. I'm happier now. I'm probably
Mm.
maybe happiest something else in something else. Maybe I'll open up an NGO for animals. Maybe happiest be then.
Mm.
You never know. So I was happy then. I'm happier now. That's how I put it. I wasn't. I think a lot of people look at it कि बहुत ही miserable रही होगी इसकी life. अब एक दिन रात को शेरावाली माता आई, उन्होंने त्रिशूल निकाला और फिर उन्होंने बोला कि सुबह कॉमेट बन जाओ, और उसने बोला हाँ हाँ हाँ, फिर पैसों की बरसात होनी शुरू हो गई और
Ah.
मैं उनसे फनी हो गया, वरदान देके गया। ऐसा नहीं होता है।
Ah. Right.
I think, and also while you are working towards whatever you're working towards, survival is the only thing on your mind. Success is not what you're counting. The irony of a human humans is that when somebody becomes even mildly successful, which I am,
Ah,
mildly, and to be mildly is a very uh, I think a very overrated term I'm using for myself or my success. Um, we have to look back for a success story, and that is what I wasn't creating any success story. I was just trying to survive one day at a time, not die of hunger, put food on my plate. अब उसके लिए मुझे open mic करना था, उसके लिए मुझे चुटकुले सुनाने थे, उसके लिए जो भी करना था. I wasn't creating success story then. And I'm seriously not creating a success story now. But वही है कि जब आदमी थोड़ा सा भी successful हो जाता है, we try to look back. अच्छा मैं बताओ कैसे किया आपने. अरे अगर मुझे पता ही होता तो बाबूजी का घंटा कर लिया होता मैंने, तो उसको ज्यादा अच्छा क्यों नहीं किया फिर मैंने, और अच्छा क्यों नहीं किया मैंने, तो वर्ल्ड का बेस्ट कॉमिक क्यों नहीं हूँ, वो अकेला कॉमिक क्यों नहीं हूँ, बाकियों को खत्म क्यों नहीं कर दिया मैंने दुनिया जीत क्यों नहीं ली है फिर, अगर मुझे ये सब सीक्रेट पता ही होता तो. We just trying to survive one day at a time.
Right, right. Awesome, brilliant. And how about because stand up in India right now is about 5-6 years old.
Yeah,
Commercial stand up, right?
yeah,
About
6 7,
five,
yeah,
five, 5 to 6, 7 years
yeah,
old at
yeah.
best. What do you think is the future now, considering this bullshit coronavirus, considering nothing is happening?
If you're funny, you can do it lifelong. If you're funny,
Okay,
and you put hard work. If you're
right.
not, and I think anybody can be funny. Anybody. Amar used to say that he used to bomb for the first year and a half, and then he started working on his art form. Amit Tandon is probably one of those guys who is witty in real life, but he's not funny in real life. But when he goes up on stage, he puts up a persona and he delivers, and how he delivers. First Hindi comic to have a Netflix special. First guy who virtually lives outside India to do his shows. Probably the most successful Indian comic that we've had.
Yeah.
But that is a guy who shows true grit and true example of what hard work and perseverance means. So yeah, I mean, you put in hard work, you keep changing with the times, and believe in what you're doing and keep doing it. Get up on stage, do it. Get up on stage and do it. You will fall, but you will learn.
Right. Great, awesome. And anything on the online scene right now? What do you think is happening with the online scene? Because we have to wait till this nonsense is over, right?
No, so a lot of people are doing online shows. Amit is doing it. Anshu Moore is doing it.
Yeah.
OML is doing some bit of it. And, Insider is doing it. So I'm planning to do it. I'm just going to start with 20 people at one go, try to see how the setup goes, and that's it. So Zoom is one of those platforms you can go, or Facebook page has started. In next few weeks, it'll start with. There was an article yesterday that we're integrating payments and live performance.
You will monetize your lives.
Yeah. So if this is the world to go to, then this is the world to go to, and even then, it is the best case scenario because then you're not even hinged over any events and anything. You can just do, if you're really successful, you can do about 48 shows of half an hour every day.
Yeah.
And just be on a 24-hour binge. But then it should push you because the world is your oyster and the market is magnanimous, because then online nobody has a limitation. You Bangalore or whatever Delhi mein show hai. So
Exactly.
I think it has just opened up your paradigm so much. It has just opened up your avenue so massively that it is funny if you don't take advantage of it.
Okay, brilliant. I think that's a great way to look at it. That's a very positive
No,
thing
that's
on
the
the
only way
internet.
to look at it. That's what.
Yeah,
See,
that's
now you
exactly.
consider this as positive, and for me it is survival. अगर मैं नहीं देखूंगा तो मेरा घर बिक जाएगा ना. See, that's the difference. It's survival.
It's survival.
What else?
It's
What
survival.
other way do you have? Do you have a choice to look at it
There
any
is
other
no
way?
way. No, there's no
There
way.
is no
No,
other fucking way. You have to look at it that way.
Exactly.
फटी
Awesome.
में आदमी क्या करता है? यही करता है ना.
ठीक है. Brilliant. Thanks, Jeeveshu. I think those are the questions I had for
No
you.
problem.
If there's anything else you want to say to people who are your fans,
Yes.
please say it.
Yes.
Otherwise, we
Just be safe. Stay home, and don't think you're immortal. This is a massive disease, and it's not in control. And if you ever realize that you're bigger than life and people care about you, and your rivalries and petty issues and your insecurities were magnanimous in nature, please look around. There's one virus just got the world down to its knees. You're as insignificant as anybody else, and you're as significant as anybody else. So stop whining. You have a roof over your head, you have food to eat, you have a bed to sleep on. Stay home.
Awesome. Great. All right. Thank you so much.
All right, bud. Take
Yes,
care.
sir. Bye.
Bye.